This is the 11 o'clock edition of the TV2 News Hour with Art Brown, sports with the Dean, Omar Williams, and Bob Breck has the weather.
Good evening. Dayton is still stunned by the death of Dr. Charles Glatt. Dayton's desegregation expert was shot while in his office in the Federal Building this afternoon and died shortly thereafter at Miami Valley Hospital. The NewsHour was on the scene from beginning to end.
The shooting took place at about 2:45. NewsHour photographer Bob Phillips and I arrived at the scene just as an ambulance crew was carrying Dr. Glatt from the west door of the Federal Building. Linda Dameron, an aide to Judge Rubin, helped with Glatt's removal. Glatt was already ashen-faced. He was bleeding profusely from multiple wounds in the stomach and neck areas. A crowd of spectators and reporters formed in minutes. Many did not know it was Glatt who had been shot, and rumors of a bomb scare added to the tragic chaos. Police said Glatt was still conscious when they arrived. Federal agents sealed off the building immediately. Right after the shooting, a suspect later identified as Neil Bradley Long was captured. Keith Smith saw the arrest and the weapon, a .22 handgun.
Me and my partner was in there delivering papers, and the guy comes out, and the cops grab him at the door, and checks him down, gets the gun off of him, and they tell us to get out of the building. Tell him to close up the building and don't let anyone in, don't let anyone out. Then we saw another cop come out with blood on his hands. Then we saw just to call the ambulance and stuff. About 10 minutes later, the ambulance arrived.
Police found Long's car, a blue Ford, in a lot across Wilkinson Street. A parking attendant on 3rd Street, whose lot was full, said Long cursed him, and he sent Long to the lot around the corner. Authorities cannot explain how the gun was smuggled past security checkpoints at both ends of the building. Glatt's office adjoined Judge Rubin's chambers in the center of the first floor. Desegregation is an emotionally charged subject. Some reporters recalled that Dr. Glatt had received crank phone calls but laughed them off as harmless pranks. At the courthouse, the atmosphere remained one of confusion and disbelief. But confusion here gave way to concern at Miami Valley Hospital. Ralph Newell reports.
Things were kind of quiet here at the Miami Valley Hospital all afternoon, but shortly after 6 this evening, just after Mrs. Glatt's arrival, the hospital did have this official statement.
Hospital officials informed the media that Dr. Glatt's heart stopped beating while being treated in the emergency room. He was taken to surgery where the hemorrhaging was controlled, but efforts at heart restoration failed. He died at 3:40 p.m. Mrs. Glatt, through hospital officials, issued this statement about her husband's death.
In referring to her husband, she said his whole life was desegregation, and he was doing what he wanted to do. She further added, I pity the person who did this, but I don't hate him, and I have no animosity toward him.
The suspect, 48-year-old Neil Bradley Long of 22 South June Street, a divorcee and the father of 7 children, was arraigned shortly after 5 p.m. this evening before U.S. Magistrate Roger Makeley. In the same building, Glatt was shot and killed. Long was charged with murder in the first degree and was denied bail because under the federal code, it's a non-bailable offense when the death penalty is involved. Long, employed by Collins, Ohio service station on Stroop and Marshall, entered no plea at the arraignment. When asked by Makeley if he could afford an attorney, Long said no. Asked if he would like to have a court-appointed attorney, Long said yes. Makeley then appointed attorney Walter Porter to represent him at today's arraignment and set a preliminary hearing for 9 a.m. Thursday morning. Long was then put in the custody of U.S. Marshals and transferred to county jail. A security guard who took the gun away from the suspect told the NewsHour, Long said, I did what I had to do. Even though security was just recently beefed up in this building because of several incidents in federal buildings across the country, security just wasn't tight enough today. Retha Phillips for the TV2 NewsHour.
In addition, on the NewsHour tonight, we'll have some community reaction to the shooting of Dr. Glatt. Reaction from people who've been working alongside the man whose job it was to keep a community together while upholding equality in its school system. And to look at the man himself, a profile on the kind of man Dr. Charles Glatt was, his thoughts behind his job on integration of Dayton schools, a job that cost him his life. More on those stories in just a moment.
I'm Ben Rader of Ben Rader Realtors. The name Realtor designates a person who adheres strongly to a very strict code of ethics and is a professional at handling your real estate needs. We are constantly striving to promote better ideas and methods of serving the general public. We are members of the Dayton Area Board of Realtors and the Greene County Multiple Listing Service. Regardless of the size of your needs, we at Ben Rader Realtors office will be pleased to give you the professional service you are seeking. Remember, we're not number one, you are.
At Southside, we're determined to be number one and outsell the competition with these three facts. Number one, we have over 350 cars that must be sold. Number two, Chrysler Corporation has lowered the price on the 75 models. And number three, there will be a price increase on the 76 models by as much as $400. Our interest is in liquidating inventory. Therefore, I have instructed my sales force to bring me any deal, no matter how ridiculous. And finally, to be number one, we will sell for less.
Federal District Court Judge Carl Rubin chose Dr. Glatt to be the court-appointed desegregation expert. Tonight, when Rubin reacted to the death of Glatt, he summarized the feelings of many civic leaders. He said, "Words cannot express my shock and dismay at the news of Dr. Glatt's death. I have never met a man so dedicated and so willing to perform eagerly a difficult task. It is almost impossible to believe that such a person would be killed solely because of his efforts to deal fairly and adequately with a pressing social problem. I can only say that it was an honor and a privilege to know Charles Glatt." Dayton School Superintendent John Maxwell was with Dr. William Gordon, Dayton's other desegregation expert, at the time of the shooting. Maxwell termed the shooting senseless and irrational.
We're just shocked. We just can't believe it can happen. You know, I've been here 38 years in the school system, and it's just unbelievable anything so senseless and ridiculous as this could happen in the city of Dayton. We really thought, you know, that we had things kind of coming about. We thought that the blacks and whites both were starting to work together. We've been extremely happy with our magnets, the way they have operated this week, and all of our new programs. And Dr. Glatt and Dr. Gordon were working smoothly together, and we just really thought that, you know, things were looking up for us. And we had the board, you know, voted a 7-0 vote last week on everything, and it just looked as if, you know, things were really coming around, and we're just shocked. It's just senseless, ridiculous, any way you look at it.
Superintendent Maxwell also said he believed Dr. Glatt was preparing to draw up the desegregation plan in the next few weeks and really had very little in writing. So Maxwell said anybody who takes over the desegregation task would probably have to start all over. Today's violence will undoubtedly result in tighter security at the federal building, but the Board of Education building will not be under strict security too. All doors will be locked and a guard posted at the main entrance beginning on Monday. All Ohio eyes are on Dayton. That's what Dr. Glatt said about desegregation here. He said Dayton was the test case, and what happened here would have profound influence on all other Ohio cities yet to feel the trauma of court-ordered desegregation.
I think the citizens of Dayton will be collectively embarking on a whole series of new experiences occasioned by desegregation of the schools. My fervent prayer is that what the future holds.
Glatt came to Dayton a stranger, appointed by Federal District Judge Carl Rubin in June as the court expert responsible for formulating the desegregation plan. One of his first appearances in Dayton was to speak to a group of ministers to enlist their help in making desegregation work. Glatt was a religious man. He often quoted the scriptures as the ultimate reason behind desegregation. He knew that transportation for desegregation would not be popular in Dayton, but public opinion would not sway his thinking.
I don't know about crisscross busing. If transportation is needed, I assume it'll be provided.
But only a limited busing program would be implemented this fall. It would involve over 100 black youngsters who were reassigned from Miami Chapel to predominantly white schools. Some blacks were angry that only black children were to be bused. Glatt met that opposition squarely by canvassing the black neighborhoods. Glatt was interested in the community because it would be the public that would ultimately make it work.
I've never known of a community that one could say is ready for any major change. But Dayton has time to get ready, to prepare. There are only minor changes to occur this year by the Sixth Circuit order, and Dayton has a year of lead time. And if this plan, as approved by the Sixth Circuit, cannot be implemented well in this city, it won't be because the city didn't have time to get ready for it. So it really comes down to what the people in Dayton want for their city.
And on the first day of busing for desegregation, the community showed that it could make it work. Because when school started that first day at Eastmont and Horace Mann, it was like any other day at any other school. And that is perhaps one of the biggest tributes to be paid to Dr. Charles Glatt.
Every year, 9 out of 10 auto policyholders stay with Nationwide for reasons like money-saving discounts and fair rates.
Nationwide is on your side.
And most claims paid within 48 hours after proof of loss.
Nationwide is on his side.
Auto insurance is part of Nationwide's blanket protection for your family or your business.
Nationwide is on your side. Nationwide is on your side.
The perfect time to buy Frigidaire and save? It's happening right here, right now in Dayton during Frigidaire discount days. Right now, your participating Dayton area Frigidaire dealers are offering big discounts on their full line of dependable Frigidaire appliances. Refrigerators, ranges, dishwashers, and these Frigidaire heavy-duty washers and matching dryers. So buy what Dayton builds. Buy Frigidaire and save during Frigidaire discount days.
The Stampede's on at Kroger, and you won't want to miss it, because this Stampede can put over 2,500 extra top value stamps in your stamp books. To get these extra stamps, just clip the coupons from this week's Kroger newspaper ad, make the required purchases, then fill your books. The big top value Stampede only lasts until September 28th, and after that, Kroger will no longer offer top value stamps. So hurry, don't miss the last Stampede, going on now at Kroger.
The Grant & Ode Tower in downtown Dayton could possibly be under new management and ownership as the result of a suit filed in federal court. Tom Barris reports on the suit and the building's money troubles.
It's been known for some time now that the Grant & Ode Tower, Dayton's first skyscraper, is having financial problems. Problems some suspect may be as big as the 22-story building itself. And there have been a host of rumors concerning its future. And the building's fate is in doubt. The reason, an action filed in federal district court here by the Westinghouse Credit Corporation of Pittsburgh. The suit alleges that Grant & Ode Enterprises, Paul Deneau, lawyer Louis Goldman, and 8 other defendants have not paid a $500,000 mortgage loan due in June of 1974. Figure in the interest, and Westinghouse claims it has about $550,000 coming. Westinghouse Credit has a second mortgage on the building. Prudential Insurance has the first. The suit asks that the court consider putting the building into receivership, set up a group to lease, collect, rent, and manage the building. Deneau could not be reached for comment. Goldman expressed surprise at the suit. Figures on the building's occupancy rate were not available. There have been rumors that the city of Dayton was thinking of moving some administrative offices from City Hall into the tower, but a deal for that never panned out. Some $276,000 in back county real estate taxes for 1973-74 are still unpaid, and the $9 million high-rise may be taking its investors from the heights of original optimism to the basement of foreclosure. Tom Barris for the TV2 NewsHour.
You know, Bob Breck just said he was very excited, and I think that has something to do with the weather.
Tomorrow is going to be super.
You were hedging at 6, but I guess you've changed your mind.
No hedge.
No hedge whatsoever.
If you believe that, you're more gullible than I thought. No. Tonight there's a change in the forecast, mainly because the cold front that was slowing down seems to really be coming at us pretty good tonight. Dayton now has a shower at the airport on the hour. Indianapolis already in the cold air, and I thought the front may even stall out over us. It doesn't appear that's going to happen tomorrow. It'll push on through. There's clearing already at Chicago, at St. Louis. We should see lots of sun tomorrow. Easy now, don't throw things. Lots of sun tomorrow, and that means one thing. Look at this, 70, 70. It won't be that cold just because the sun's out. Will be drier air, though. Now, Sunday's a different story. There's still a strong low up over Minnesota, bringing down clouds in back of it here. I think maybe we might get a little of that backlash on Sunday. Saturday, though, especially by mid-afternoon, it should be a delightful day for any football games around. Just about for anything outside. These are all high temperatures, 80s up and down the East Coast, 40s up along the northern tier of states. Bismarck could only make 46, and Eloise is predicted to move into the Gulf of Mexico by tomorrow evening. Eloise, not Ethel, into the Gulf, and that could threaten all of the Gulf Coast, not until late Sunday or on Monday. I'll be back with a satellite view of that strong storm in Minnesota in a second.
If you're concerned about next winter's heating bills and the need to conserve gas, here's a suggestion. A flashlight and a ruler can show you what to do. The most important thing is to have proper attic insulation. Insulation holds heat in during the winter, keeps heat out in the summer. If the insulation in your attic measures less than 6 inches, it'll pay you to add more. DP&L has a booklet that will help you bring your insulation up to recommended standards. Call for your free copy or contact a qualified insulation contractor. And don't forget cracks around windows and doors. Shine your flashlight around the edges. If the light shows through on the other side, you need to add or replace weather stripping. Now, these things will pay for themselves in savings on utility bills. The extra comfort they provide is a nice bonus for you and your family.
Yes, here's that strong storm in Minnesota. Notice how the clouds wrap around. The clearing, though, already northwest Illinois at 3:30 this afternoon. Chicago's in the clear. I think we'll see a lot of sun tomorrow. Tonight at TV2, we're cloudy, 67 here, 85% humidity. The barometer is steady. Wind south at 5. Rainfall at the airport now is over a trace. The air quality was very good. The high was 74. 61 this morning was the low. The record's 95 and 50 or 34, and last year it was warm, 82 for a high. Now, on the hour, Dayton had a shower and 67 at the airport. These are 10 p.m. temperatures. Notice, though, it's clear back here. Here's the clouds. This is moving on through. The news hour forecast reads like this. Tonight, we'll see some showers, light showers, cloudy and mild, low of 58. Tomorrow, though, I think a delightful afternoon. Showers ending in the morning, becoming partly sunny, 73. Tomorrow night, a little cooler, though, down to around 50. And for Sunday, cloudy to partly cloudy and chilly, a high of 66. So if we can milk one day out of the weekend, everybody.
So no ifs, ands, or buts. It's
Tomorrow
going to be
will
nice. Well, I hope you are right. No, I won't say for once. Thank you, Bob. People in the Trotwood-Madison School District continue the task today of trying to come to grips with racial problems that have closed the area's schools this week. Howard Aiden reports.
About 90 persons, administrators, faculty, and concerned parents met this afternoon to try to identify problem areas and work out solutions. Discussions centered on the discriminatory treatment given both black and white students by teachers and upon the safety of students in school. Both the junior and senior high schools have been closed since Wednesday following a racial disturbance. After about 2.5 hours of parents raising questions, a group presented a list of what they said were demands. Superintendent Wooldridge read over the items and said it would take them under advisement. One of the most vocal at the meeting was a member of the school board who said she agreed with the items on the list and was thankful for today's meeting.
I think that this is a starting point, a point that we should have started at a long time ago when people were saying that we should be doing some preparation so that all students could have a chance at an education in the school district. And I don't feel they do, because the decisions have been made form an entire pattern of discrimination. And I have spoken up against it ever since I have been on the board, and nobody has been listening. I warned them about this, and nobody has been listening. And now suddenly, because this has happened, people are listening. They should have listened a long time ago, and I say that the administration is at fault.
So while no firm commitments were received today, officials say this is a start, and another meeting with parents is scheduled for 2 p.m. Sunday. Howard Ain for the TV2 NewsHour.
And in Boston today, trouble erupted again. This time there was some isolated rock throwing. A 16-year-old was arrested in one of the incidents. For the second straight day, the New York stock market racked up more than 15 points. Trading was up substantially over yesterday, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed the week at 829.79. So if you have some stock, I guess that's good news. Omar Williams is not here. As you see, that's Phil Easley. He's sitting in for Omar, who's in Michigan for the big game tomorrow.
That's right. He's getting ready for the Miami versus Michigan State game.
Which, I have to admit, I didn't pick our local team. What can I say?
Omar picked them for you. While the sleepy fans watched on tonight, the Cincinnati Reds took the Atlanta Braves 7-6. A solo home run by Dave Concepcion and a 3-run double by Terry Crowley keyed a 5-run fifth inning. Pat Darcy won his 11th game of the year. The Reds have now won 3 games in a row. Tonight's 7-6 win over Atlanta gives the Reds their 101st victory this year. The Reds play the Braves tomorrow night at 7:35 and Sunday afternoon at 2:15. In other action tonight, Pittsburgh down St. Louis 7-1 with the help of Ed Kirkpatrick's 3-run homer. Kirkpatrick was hitting for Stargell. Philadelphia leads New York after 8 innings 4-3. After 7 innings of play, Montreal leads Chicago 6-5. Los Angeles and Houston are tied at 4-4 after 8 innings. The San Diego at San Francisco game just now getting underway. In the American League, Boston and Detroit are tied 4-4 after 3.5 innings. That game has been delayed because of rain. Baltimore beat Milwaukee this evening, 6-5. Kansas City is leading Oakland 3-2 after 6 innings. Cleveland beat New York 3-2. Texas leads Chicago 5-2 after 3 innings. And the Minnesota-California game just now getting underway. We'll take a look at weekend college football action, some high school scores, and more sports after this word.
Hello, I'm Tom Kyle Jr., president of Spring Hill Nurseries in Tip City. This is our 126th year of family operation. We've made a lot of exciting improvements. We've become one of America's largest direct-to-you nurseries. We've added a modern office and computer for better inventory control. Our 600-acre nursery and football field-sized warehouses enable us to grow and buy in huge quantities and pass the savings on to you. You'll see tremendous selection, over 1,000 varieties and sizes. So buy direct from the grower and save.
Save on these mink coats and many, many more during Reich's 3-day mink coat sale. Reich's Fur Salons downtown and Salem Mall. Sale ends Monday.
We're at it again. Another Meadows of Catalpa open house. Sunday, 6 residents are opening their homes to you. Join me, Betty Rogie, for a look at this exciting way to live.
Lewis and Michael, the dependable moving people for over 25 years, have won the Allied Van Lines Award for outstanding customer service. Call 294-MOVE for a free estimate.
The middle jewel of racing's Triple Crown, the Little Brown Jug, finally got enough dry weather to run today. C-Train took the final race. C-Train easily outran the favorite Nero in an earlier race, ruining Nero's chance to win the Triple Crown. Second behind C-Train was Polaris Lobel, coming in third, Albert Starr. Veteran Kentucky Colonels forward Dan Assell has been traded to the new Baltimore franchise of the American Basketball Association. The Colonels are to receive forward Tom Owens and an undisclosed amount of cash. The money is reportedly in the neighborhood of $750,000. Plenty of action tonight in area high school football. Fairmont West beats Stebbins 20-6. Centerville over Beaver Creek 22-0. Franklin and Meadowdale tied 0-0. Lebanon over Oxford Talawanda 45-0. Fairborn Baker shut out Tecumseh 28-0. Wilbur Wright shut out Columbus Worley. Greenville shut out Brookville. Chaminade Julienne down Colonel White 27-14. A solid program of college football gets underway tomorrow. Miami, unbeaten in 24 games, meets favored Michigan State at Spartan Stadium. Miami riding high on the 50-0 romp over Marshall. Michigan State still reeling from its loss to the Buckeyes. Of course, Ohio State hosts Penn State. The Bucks have never beaten the Nittany Lions. They've met 4 times over the years. And that's TV2 NewsHour Sports.
Well, you really didn't go into our predictions, but then people will find out more about that on Monday. Thank you, Phil. We'll be back with a few more words right after this message.
$12 coffees, 9 with cream.
You're on.
Maxine, that's instant coffee.
Not just instant coffee. Instant Maxwell House. I make every cup fresh. See those flavor buds? They're what does it.
Tastes fresh.
Right. When you make it fresh, every cup tastes fresh, like your first cup in the morning. Good to the last drop. And that last drop's pretty good, too. I think I'll have a cup.
Instant Maxwell House.
Good to the last drop.
We ate a 15-second lunch at exit 20. At exit 23, Jennifer started crying because Napoleon ate her souvenir wallet. At exit 24, I paid $55 for moccasins at Big Chief TP's gift shop. And here at 28, it's all getting to me.
If aches and pains with upset stomach are taking their toll on you, take Alka-Seltzer. It works fast.
I feel much better now. I've got 6, maybe 7 more exits left.
For acid indigestion, try Alka-Seltzer Gold.
We've said that you could afford Firestone. Here comes the proof. 3 different Firestone tires at very low prices. As low as $18.95 on this 4-ply polyester Core Deluxe Champion. And only $22.95 for the famous Strato Street double-belted tire. And really low prices on the 40,000-mile steel-belted Radial 500. Only $37.95. Bias, belted, or radial. Firestone has them at a price you can afford now.
$15 buys an awful lot of merchandise at Concord City. How about a 72 by 90 polyester blanket? Price only $3. In the boys department, a package of BVD shirts. Price only $1, valued at $2.29. Or in the men's department, a warm flannel shirt at $2.99. In the boys department, an NFL coat. Price only $6. And girls slacks at $1.99 at Concord City Clothing Store. See you, please.
That's it for another week on the News Hour, a week that has ended on a tragic note. We of the News Hour staff and the management of TV2 send our condolences to Dr. Glatt's widow. The times in which we live are very trying and often difficult to understand or even live with. People can only examine their own lives and make the best of them, even in the face of adversity. I'm Cheryl Preble. Good night.
I Do will be at La Comedia through August 30th, and from what I've seen, I Do recommend that you see it. And that's tonight's edition of News Hour, People and Places.
You know, I saw that last Friday, and I thought it was quite good. I was very impressed.
Very good show.
Yeah, it certainly was. You were there.
I had to leave about the middle of the marriage.
Well, that always happens. Well, they did too, almost. So,
I would like an explanation real quick. We've had some phone calls about why we didn't carry that ball game Saturday. That was the NBC game, you know, the Reds and the Dodgers. Simply, it has to be sold out 72 hours in advance, and although it was sold out, it wasn't sold out 72 hours in advance, and we can't do anything about it. It's a league ruling, and that's why we didn't carry it. We've had some calls about that.
Oh, we'll go. We explain all that. And Dick Carter is back from vacation. You wouldn't believe what he did on his vacation.
How we got it.
He sat in my garage.
He played with his, I don't want to say toy boats, model boats.
Oh.
That's it for tonight. Join most of these people, not me, tonight at 11. Good night.
WLWD TV2 in Dayton.
This is NBC Nightly News, Monday, July 28th, with John Chancellor reporting from the NBC News Center in New York.
Good evening.
The Turkish Foreign Ministry said this evening that Turkish military officers have taken control of 5 American bases in that country and that 20 more American bases will be put under Turkish control tomorrow. The 5 bases taken over today are primarily engaged in gathering electronic intelligence from the Soviet Union. In Washington, the State Department said all American military activities in Turkey have been suspended, but added that the Turks have not demanded the departure of American troops. The Turkish action is being taken in retaliation against the refusal by the House of Representatives to ease its embargo on American arms shipments to Turkey. And while all of that was going on, President Ford was in Warsaw, Poland, on his way to the big summit conference in Helsinki. The president and Polish Communist Party leader Edward Gierek endorsed the summit as a contribution to a strengthening of peace. Here's more on the president's visit to Warsaw from Tom Brokaw in the Polish capital.
For most of the day,